All right, hey folks, this video is going to be about the major pentatonic scale. Most people know the minor pentatonic scale, but a lot of people don't know how to use the major pentatonic scale or how to use it over chord changes that involve major chords. So we know that if we have like an E minor, we know the E minor pentatonic and all its different positions, right? They all work really well with that E minor type of chord, or they work well with the blues thing like an E7, A7, and B7 type thing. That minor pentatonic works great. But what if you have a major chord? You want to play some bluesy type scale. You don't always want to go into the full-on major scale because you got some notes that'll kind of clash. Well, what the pentatonic is a 5-tone scale, so a couple of the notes have been taken out. A couple of those kind of troublesome notes that wouldn't work so easily within a blues structure or even like a E minor chord type of thing. Like that F sharp really stands out. The C stands out really against that. You can hear where those notes, like, they kind of don't quite fit within a blues context. So the major scale, the major pentatonic scale, is a great one to add to your vocabulary if you don't have it in there already. So one easy way to look at it is look at the E minor pentatonic. Well, all those notes are the same notes for the G major pentatonic. It's just if we start on a G. So if I start on a G, that has the sound of happy blues, I call it. Major key blues, right? So it's still the pentatonic scale. It just started on a G. It just so happens that G and E minor are relative, just like A and F sharp minor are relative, or C and A minor are relative. And what you do is it's the 6th note of the scale. So if we were in G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's the minor 6 chord that goes with the major 1 chord. So that's why G and E minor are relative. So the G major scale is all the same notes as the E minor scale. Okay, so G and E minor are relative. No matter what key you're in, say if you're in the key of A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6th note of the scale is the F sharp minor. That's the 6th chord. You can also take that A and just go down chromatic 3 frets to find that note. That's why we can find like C down to the A minor. So it's good to know how these things are the same, going from major to minor, minor to major, back and forth. So let's look at this G major pentatonic. So if I have a G chord, a lot of people will go, well, okay, I can do my G minor pentatonic. Well, you kind of can do that, but that would work kind of a little bit better over a G7 type thing or a G minor type thing. But you can make the minor pentatonic. Plenty of rock songs have done that with a major chord, but a minor pentatonic on top. But if you want to match better this major pentatonic, check out this scale here. That was 2 octaves worth of the G major pentatonic scale. We got G, and then we take this 5th fret. I call this the my girl thing. It's like, if you remember this, how this riff goes, it'll help you remember major pentatonic no matter where you are. That's kind of the my girl riff, right? So take this ring finger on the 5th, then slide it to the 7th. That puts you in a new position. 5, 7, and 5. That 5 there is the octave of that G. So and you don't need to phrase it like that, but you need to see how these notes work together to get you quickly into a new octave and very easily. This one would start in the 5, go 7 to 9, 7 to 9 on the G, down to this G note root up here on the 8th fret, the 2nd string. You can even look at this one. So we had 8, and then 10 to 12, and then 10, 12, 15. Gets us to our next G. Now think about this one up here. So that was like your E minor pentatonic first position, right? But if we start on a G, like I said, those are relative. See, See, there's a G note in the middle there too. We got that G in the bass. So it's all these notes that you guys know. Even the bend notes still work. It's just we're emphasizing the G's now instead of the E's, because we're not in E minor anymore. Okay, so what if you had a progression like, well, a C to D to G major, there is no like minor pentatonic scale that sounds cool over all those, like a blues works or like a one chord kind of minor thing works. So sometimes when you have these major chords, you're like, what do I do? You know, do I play the G major scale because it's in G, because that's the C and the D, or like, what do you do there? Well, one thing you can do is just see how long that chord is holding for and look at its own major pentatonic and how it slid up there like. Now think about this from the other side. Say if you had the C chord, but you don't want to always come in from this end off that bass note. You might look at that higher note and come back that way. So you might go like. Now let's look at another thing. So if we have, say, the C chord here. Now we also have this area up here where you take that first finger and play that C chord. That puts us up in this great position for doing some bend kind of stuff. So that'd be like for C, because that's part of a C chord. So there's your C note. When I bend that up, I'm still in major. And those are like notes from a C chord, right? So D. Same thing, just 2 frets up, and then the G, I could go way up here. Then there's all kinds of other things to see about the different positions and stuff of that. But I'm going to give you one here. This is called the BB box. So you know when we got your G minor pentatonic? We come up here and then get this G. Well, if you take this note here, so we got that kind of thing. If you take that, take it up, now you're outlining a major pentatonic scale. And this is the BB box. This is where he's got that one note. You can bend that next note. You can bend that minor kind of note that's 3 frets away. You can give that a big kind of minor-y bend, and then this could be kind of a half stepper, or so he can do a full step on this 10th fret. Get that happy note, that major third. Then you also have stuff like. So this is a cool one. You bend this 10th fret, and even though the 7 would be the note in the major pentatonic for G there, you can use this C here as a kind of a moving quickly type of thing. There's also these chromatics you've probably heard in different solos, like. Or even. Okay, so the BB box is good to know. You've got this, that's your 1 note. This is your 2. This is your 3 when you bend it up a whole step. This is your 3 again. This would be your 4, which you could use as kind of a walking thing. Get a chromatic there. You got your 5 right here. When you bend that up, you got your 6. So it's really important to see how you could start on a bass note and get a major pentatonic instead of always doing minor pentatonic. There's a G again. G again. And we get way up here, we got. So that's definitely like part of like the Allman Brothers style. They would use that major pentatonic quite a bit. They would get some happy, fun sounding, but bluesy type stuff going on. So let's take a look at these different positions of G major pentatonic. So if you guys saw the E minor pentatonic positions, you know these are the same. It's just start and end on a G, and it'll make it really sound like you are in G, right? So if I start up here, then I can move into this higher position. Still feels like it resolves on that G, you know. So then we got this next position. And the other thing is to know where the E's are. See, if you're doing E minor pentatonic, this is one of those positions, right? But where is the E versus where is the G? So if I started here in that position, that'd be G to G octave right in there. Let's look at this next one. So this is the E. So if I start on E, sounds like I'm in E minor pentatonic. But if I start on this G, sounds like I'm in G major pentatonic, right? Okay, so let's look at this other one up here. We got, but if we start it with a G, really sounds like we got that G major pentatonic going. The BB box works best on the second string. So say if we were in the key of E, what are we going to do? First finger, find the E. So E is here, 5th fret. That's our first finger. Then we have these other notes. Okay, so that would be E BB box, right? E major pentatonic. What if we had B major pentatonic? 12th fret there on the second string. I like to do that little half step sometimes. And there's tons of stuff you can do with that. What if we had a D major pentatonic, D BB box? So if you're hearing riffs like that and you don't know where they're coming from, they're probably coming from major pentatonic. Maybe you just haven't delved into that quite enough yet. So major pentatonic is a lot of fun. It's the happy blues. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll put a tab with some of the scales, and think of all your exercises you can do with that too. So all the same exercises you would do with minor pentatonic, do these with major. That one even sounded more G than it would sound E because we started on the G. But whenever you do these, think about, like, instead of going starting on E, start on the G if you're trying to be major. And think of those, like, think of ways you could go like. Do little sets of threes and stuff like that. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm Damon. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.